day. I woke up under different sheets again. I have to ask somebody when I go down for coffee. Live with a little mystery till then. It's red and brown and grey out the window. Could be any city, anywhere. And I'm staring at the telephone, but I guess I best leave you alone till I figure out what time it is back there. But every moment I'm away takes me closer. Sometimes that's all that gets me through. And every single step I take is another step. It's another step closer to you. I had a mismatched conversation with the waitress. I think she said the name of the hotel, I'm not sure. When I tried to clarify, she said on Mercy Street, and I didn't have it in me to pursue it anymore. But every moment I'm away takes me closer. Sometimes that's all that gets me through. And every single step I take is another step. It's another step closer. Every moment I'm away takes me closer. Every moment, and every single step I take is another step. It's another step closer to you. Closer to you. Closer to you. Closer to you. Thank you, thank you. You're very kind.
And you're very good.
Nice. All right, this is a. So I'm going to sing a storyteller. Some of the stories are true. Some of them have a kernel of truth. This one is actually true. So in 2019, on the 13th of July, there was a sudden power failure in New York, and it plunged the whole city in the Manhattan into darkness for several hours. And weirdly, it was the exact same day that there was a massive blackout in 1977, so 42 years earlier. And in that blackout, there were mass riots and a whole lot of violence. And so when this happened, people were worried. So I responded to a challenge that Amanda Palmer put down to write songs about this event based on a wonderful article in the New York Times by James Barron and Michael Zaveri. And this is the song. It's called... No, I'm not going to tell you what it's called because it spoils it. 42 years to the day, 6:47 p.m. New York City suddenly sneezed, closed her eyes again. Traffic lights blinked out, air conditioners wheezed to a halt. Elevators hung in mid-descent, while in bars and restaurants, folks drank by the glow of their phones. Sometimes we need the darkness to notice the light. The heat got out of hell's kitchen into hell's bedrooms and walls. People abandoned apartment ships, obeyed exit signs in the halls. 'Cause we sometimes need the darkness to notice the light. Yes, we sometimes need the darkness to notice the light. Well, then 1,000 stumbling Jonahs emerged from the bellies of stranded subway whales, and they stood on street corners and observed. Pedestrians stepped to the plate, helped direct traffic through town. On Broadway, the show went on to the sidewalk as the cast sang songs for the crowd. And people spoke to their neighbors. People joked with their neighbors. And they drank champagne with their neighbors. 'Cause we sometimes need the darkness to notice the light. Yes, we sometimes need the darkness to notice the light. Well, we sometimes need the darkness to notice the light. Yes, we sometimes need the darkness to notice the light. Thank you. Would have been even nicer if it was in tune.
Fix it and mix.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I've got a mate here. How are you? My co-conspirator Donald has arrived. Do you want to play a song? That would be great. So Donald and I co-wrote this song, the next one. I'll tell you the story in a minute. For a fringe show that we did, which was songs about Adelaide and South Australia. So normally, this is Dr. D. Dr. D, otherwise known as Donald McCrory. I think that's in tune. It was really, really not before. I'll tell the story. And you, yeah, good idea. So we did a show in Unley, and one of the because we're going to be playing in Unley. Oh, and here comes the rain. Do you know that? Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory, falling on my head like a new emotion. I love Annie Lennox. Nice. Dave's not bad either. So, like, we wrote this song as a tribute to the people who served in the 27th Battalion in World War I and their families. They had an insignia of the blue and brown diamond, and so the battalion became known as Unley's Own because so many Unley residents served in the war. City of Unley's casualty rate for World War I, including those who died or who were wounded, was about 1,100 from a population of 29,000. So very few Unley families were unaffected by that dreadful impact of the war. In 2015, so very early in World War I, a grove of golden wattle trees was planted in the South Parklands to commemorate the landing of troops at Gallipoli, and a memorial was set up to remember those who died. It may be the first Australian monument to the Gallipoli campaign. Around the memorial, they planted 4 wattle trees to represent the Allies: Britain, France, Russia, and Italy. The Allies in World War I. It's strange how the world changes. In those days, Unley and Adelaide really were separate towns, and people who with loved ones overseas, they'd gather weekly between the cities to share news, to support each other and hold vigil between the wattle trees. In the Ghana language, the wattle trees are known as Milnuwila. So this song is called 4 Trees. Four trees grown for Unley's own, we will gather here. Golden wattle for those in battle, share our hopes and fears. Mary keeps his smile in the nightstand, inside a silver locket in her drawer. A curling lock of raven hair, she offers up her anguished prayers for Davy off in France to fight the war. 4 trees grown for Unley's own, we will gather here. Golden wattle for those in battle, share our hopes and fears. Her days are long, their house is deathly silent, while mortar shells rain down upon the Somme. Sitting in the sodden trench, in aching cold and putrid stench, Davy's reading Mary's news from home. 4 trees grown for Unley's own, we will gather here. Golden wattle for those in battle, share our hopes and She finds a letter posted through the mail slot. Mary doesn't recognize the hand. The vase she carried hits the ground, shards and petals scatter round. She clutches speechless at her wedding band. 4 trees grown for Unley's own, we remember those. Our diamond devils who lost their sparkle, never Thank you.
Nice song.
Thanks to Dr. D.
Hey!
Woo! He's a legend. Hey, wow, the guitar is wet. That wasn't you. Wow. So tell me, what's the time, Kathy? 10 to. All right.
2 or 3.
I'll, I'll do something. I'll do something fun. Now this may be a true story. Well, kinda. She's my little sister. Look after her real good. Just like I promised our mama, I promised that I would. She's always moving. I guess she got restless souls. But every time it seems when we pack up the dreams, there's more stuff than there was before. Accumulator. She got so much stuff. Accumulator. But it ain't not never enough. She's got purple sneakers she's had since she was 10. And a whole wardrobe full of glamour zines that she'll never read again. Boxes of candles and another box full of broken phones. That old teddy bear with the fuzzy hair, Uncle Ron brought her back from Rome. Accumulator. She got so much stuff. Accumulator. But it ain't not never enough. Accumulator. She got that bug real bad. She can't have everything she wants, but she wants everything she's had. She got every letter every boyfriend wrote, every birthday card, every sweet love note, tickets to every show that she ever saw, and that old blue dress that Mama wore. Accumulator. She got so much stuff. Accumulator. But it ain't not never enough. Accumulator. She got that bug real bad. She can't have everything she wants, but she wants everything she's had. Oh, accumulator. Way down deep in her soul. One day all that stuff might just collapse into black hole. I played that on one of the radio stations. I think it was Radio Adelaide, and I came back out, and the producer said, "I feel so called out." Ah dear. Look, I want to tell you a story, but I haven't played this thing, and I really need to. So let's see. How do we do this? Yeah, let's do that again. Because it would be teasing to have a saxophone there and not play it. Roadies are awesome. I've got to try and find the words because it's a long story. So do you know the painter Hans Huyssen? He grew up in Adelaide. His family emigrated from Germany when he was 7 and he sold his first painting when he was 16. A few years later, he was showing such promise that 4 local businessmen took a punt and they offered him £400 to travel to Europe and spend 4 years studying in exchange for any pictures he painted there. That was 1899, so it's about $60,000 in today's money. Well, that bet paid off pretty handsomely. Returning home to Adelaide in 1903, Hans was sailing up St Vincent's Gulf when the Australian light hit him like a slap across the face, and it changed him. He turned his back on Europe and he spent the rest of his life trying to capture the Australian landscape. And he met with tremendous success, winning the Wynne Prize for landscape painting a record 9 times. His work significantly influenced the way Australians came to imagine this land. His deep love for eucalypt trees, helping to shape appreciation of their beauty. Hans and his wife Sally had 8 children. But tragically, their 3rd daughter Lillian died from meningitis in 1925. She was only 15. Bereft and uninspired by his familiar surroundings, Hans sought solace in the stillness of the Flinders Ranges. And it changed him. The bare bones of the ancient landscape breathing new life into his eyes. He returned many times, saying the place had cast a spell on him. A couple of years later, he wrote a letter to a friend. Did I ever tell you? We have another artist in the family. Nora has decided on the profession and is showing remarkable aptitude. She seems to possess the natural talent and endless industry and concentration to make a success of it. Well, like her father, Nora was 16 years old when she sold her first painting, but she sold hers to Dame Nellie Melba. Like father, like daughter, respect and affection intermix, oil and watercolor memories persist. Well, when your father has the copyright on gum trees, it's probably best to try your hand at painting something else. Nora turned her focus to portraits and still life, and she moved to London to study. And while she met with some crushing criticism, painting was all she knew and all she wanted to know. And she accepted the challenge, working tirelessly to develop her skills and taking the opportunity to draw inspiration from the broad array of art collections to be found in Europe. She visited Paris and encountered the Impressionists, and it changed her. When she came back to Australia, Nora moved to Sydney, and in 1938, she became the youngest person to win the Archibald Prize for Portraiture, and the first woman. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't her age that caused controversy. It was her gender and her famous father. Like father, like daughter, respect and affection intermix, like oil and watercolor memories persist. Well, like Hans, Nora was a pacifist. But when the Second World War arrived, she needed to do something. She volunteered for the Navy, making sandwiches for the men, but she got sacked because she was too generous with the fillings. So she wondered what else she could do. And she applied to become, and she was eventually commissioned as, Australia's first female war artist. Hans cautioned her not to go, saying it would change her, and it did. Captain Nora Hyson was stationed in New Guinea and sketched and painted the locals and the women involved in the war effort. She completed over 170 works during her appointment. After the war, Nora continued to paint, but still life and portraits were falling out of favour, and she drifted into obscurity. Hans and Nora had their differences, but their lifelong correspondence reveals a close, loving relationship. Even in her 80s, Nora wondered if people actually liked her work or just paid her attention because of her father. But toward the end of the 20th century, Nora's paintings were discovered by a new generation, and she enjoyed a renaissance in popularity, which fortunately she lived to see. She kept painting up to her death at the age of 92, one of our finest artists. Like father, like daughter, respect and affection intermix, oil and watercolor memories persist. Like father, like daughter, attachment and tension coexist, oil and watercolor memories persist. Oil and watercolor memories persist.
Nice. That worked well.
All right, we've got time for one more. Got time for one more.
Yeah, of course we have.
Tricky. Look,
Something groovy.
all right. He's been staring at the screen till the numbers don't mean anything anymore. And he'd been listening to the clock, waiting for the final talk, sending him out the door. Well, there's rumors of war in the boardroom, but he just doesn't care anymore, 'cause it's the same old, same management, yeah. Was just the start of her career, but somehow she's still here. 7 years slipped away. Another client on the phone, but she's thinking of home, struggling to concentrate. Heard the rumors of war in the boardroom, but she just doesn't care anymore. No, 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 'cause it's the same old, same old. It's the same old, same old. And who can tell that we're under new management? Yeah, well, it's the same old, same old. It's the same old, same old. No way to tell that we're under new management. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I hope you didn't get too wet. Music on Flinders is a fantastic thing. Thank you to Kathy, thank you to Jeff and Peter and Bruce and everybody. Thank you guys for coming down. Thank you so much to Donald, Dr. D, because I can't play that song. Thanks again. Cheers.